right, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's going to be a great day. I invited a bunch of people on my email list, and I mean a bunch of my close-knit people. I didn't go to MailChimp and do the thousands of people from our list, but I just did, I don't know, about 50 people. So if you're on the list and you got the thing, that's because I really wanted you to come join us. Hey, Rick, good to see you. And our YouTube community. We are also live on YouTube. Always good to see you, Rick. And always at the top of the list. You beat my dad on today. Very impressive. All right, so here's what we're going to do today. As people start coming in, as always, make sure you say hello to each other. We're going to go about 40 minutes today. I always say 30 minutes, but I have to be realistic. What's up, Doug? Our first ever member of the YouTube channel. He has this nice little star badge thing. So good to see you, Doug, as always. I love when people are joining our YouTube channel. It's really cool. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. Really important to focus in. We're going to keep going with the up-down approach. I have had so many emails come in, comments, feedback from the up-down approach of you guys saying, well, you play in C blues, we've been doing that, but you didn't know that you could play in D flat, and you didn't know that you could play in B, but we're going to go through and get that out of the way to make sure everyone who is watching this video can have success playing the blues in the up-down approach. We're going to do 3 keys today. We're going to go C, D flat, and B again, what we've been doing. We're going to talk about the up-down approach. And I'm going to show you a couple little licks and tricks to go along with that. So, again, good to see you, Rick and Doug. We're going to have several people coming in. What's up, Vance? Everybody say hello to the poet who let you know it. There's always somebody, everyone has a nickname in iMusicAcademy. I love it. Rick is the Gandalf of iMusicAcademy. So you could just say, hey, Rick, or hey, Gandalf. He's wise, very wise. All right, so here we go. We're going to dig in, let people come in, but let's just go ahead and remember, what is the blues scale anyway, the C minor blues scale? You take the C scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and remember with all your major scales, I want everybody to always learn your major scales. Now, at iMusicAcademy, I have a whole sheet that says, here are all the scales, here's how you play it, here's the fingering you need to use. And then you take it to the next level by saying each scale has a degree, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we think in terms of numbers. Why in the world do we do that? Because anytime I say build a voicing of D and I go 3, flat 7, sharp 9, sharp 5, root, if you know your major scales, you can transpose into any key. So if you understand that, got it in the chat. Just put yes. And what I'm saying is we learn our major scales so that we can use chord formulas or we can use the numbers to do even licks. If I say, all right, C major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and I say this lick starts on the third, ba ba da ba da da, and I go third, da 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 da. I go 3, 5, 4, 2, or a flat 3, 3, 1, ba da 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 da. Or if I say start on the flat 7, da 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 da, ba da 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 da. If I say go down 3 half steps and now you're on the A blues scale, all of that can be related to numbers, and you start to hear these things as well. If I say ba ba da ba dum ba da da da, I can go ba da da dum ba da da da, because you can think of the numbers 3, 4, 3, 2. Now you are using your ear, but the reason I say that you can start to use numbers because as you pick any kind of major scale, you say, all right, if I'm in G major and I go to the third of G major, I could do that simple jazz lick there, right? So numbers related to each major scale are so important. So we're going to do that today. We're also going to talk about the little tricks you can do. Like if you're in the key of C major and you go down 3 half steps, we know that the A minor blues scale is perfect to use over the C blues, and you can use it all the way through. If I'm doing a simple root 5th, root 6th bass line for a blues scale in C, or a blues in C, I know that the first 5 notes of the blues scale are going to work, so I'm here. In any particular way, right? I could go. But I can also go 3 half steps down from that C. Now watch this. Now I'm on A. Here we go, and do that blues scale. Even when I go to the 4 chord, same thing, A minor blues scale. Even when I'm on the G. Now maybe go back to the C scale. All right, so you understand that is the importance of the numbers. Now, in just a second, we're going to go up to D flat and do the same exact thing. So let's talk about a couple of really important things. When we play our blues, and we're going to go over the C scale again, where you do the C minor blues scale. Now, the minor blues scale is amazing because you have your minor third, you have your blues notes with the sharp 4, and you have the flat 7, all super important, and even that minor third on top, right, that we talk about all the time. All of those are really important, but occasionally you want to have that major sound, right? To give a little lift to it. Like, you just don't want to go for days. You just don't want to be here, because it'll start to get kind of monotonous if you just have that. But if you put a little major third in there, it kind of gives you that Ray Charles feeling, right? This, okay? And if you understand that and kind of agree with that, you can put yes in the chat as well. Is that we want our blues scale, and we know it, we love it. But occasionally we might want to go, right? And also, it's nice to, even if I'm on the A blues scale and I'm playing those first 4 notes, I want to hear that little major lift, that major third lift of going there. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because this last week we've been talking about this, Rick, where we do C major chord, and I want you to visualize that C major. So even from a simple thing of going ba ba da 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 3 5 4 2 3 1, what a great thing to get the minor third and the major third, and to visualize whatever chord you're on. If I was in F and I go da 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 bum ba ba da ba da ba, and I'm just going around the cycle in my head, but this idea of just visualizing the triad will get you that nice minor third to major third lift. What's up, Dad? Everybody say hey to T-Man, the original James Taylor. You have this da 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 bum. Okay, ba da 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 da. Okay, now you need to know this because when we go into the next keys, the D flat and going down to B, we're going to practice doing the Ray Charles thing again. So remember that we're going to start here with, you have this idea of the major triad. Now let's add the Ray Charles thing. I love when you take your thumb, your second finger, and you practice sliding to that major third. Yep, JT is in the building. So then you go 4 5 on the 5th note and the 6th note. Okay, that's straight up Ray Charles. That's not me. That's Ray Charles. But I love the sound of that major third. Now in the What I'd Say, it's actually on the 5th. It's actually. So it starts on the 5th of the key, but you can also use the same kind of motion on the flat third to major third. So maybe that is me there. No, but I definitely am stealing that from Ray Charles. Okay, one of the goats, of course. All right, now let's keep moving on of that. I want everybody to keep practicing that. Like, isn't that fun to slide that second finger? At first, it's very difficult to get it if you've never done it, and you think, oh, I can't do that. I'm not used to that. Well, same thing for me when I started playing music, and that the thought of sliding from like the third down, like the flat third down, finger 3 to 3 was crazy to me. But now I get it. It's just the sound. We call it a down home fingering. And I see that my keyboard, something's a little weird with my camera. I'll pull out my keyboard just a little bit. Okay? Now, let's deal with D flat in just a second. there's one more thing I wanted to tell you, and I really thought through this lesson of something I need to communicate to you guys. The reason we learn our blues scales is, one, it gives us material that we can use in all keys, right? Now you can show up anywhere and play the first 5 notes of whatever key you're in and survive and thrive and sound amazing. Like, anybody could pick a random key, and go ahead and just do this. Just somebody pick some random keys, because I want to show you how you can use this in any situation. And then I'm going to show you a really, really important tip related to the blues scale in jazz that you need to know. Okay, so just put some random keys. I'm going to pick one until you guys tell me. I'm going to say F. If I said F and I show up to play an F, and I'm going to know the first 5 notes of the blues scale because I've learned the major scale, and you guys are going to learn the major scale, F, G, A, B flat. There's one flat in F, and it's B flat. So you learn that, and then you say, all right, 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, and 5. So that if I show up and somebody's playing an F blues, I know that all these notes are going to work, right? Okay, so Rick says E flat. So if I know the first, Vicky, thank you so much. Y'all give a shout out for Vicky supporting the channel like that. That's so nice. I'm telling you guys, I mean, Vicky's a member of both. And she gave me a tip there. Thank you so much for that. I love that. I did set up my channel to where now we have a public YouTube channel with 7 members. I'm excited about that. Of course, we have our all access members like Rick and T-Man and Vicky and others. Like, we have our group there, and that's like, you get to know me, and then you decide if you want to be a part of the all access group. That's great. We also have our Chord Academy. That's fantastic as well. Our YouTube membership is our newest thing. It is so much fun, and it's a private area on YouTube where you get all this kind of free stuff, and it's amazing. I think it's a lot of fun. But when donations things come in, that's really awesome. So thank you for that. Nobody has to give me anything ever, but it sure is appreciated when you do. And just so you guys know, that if anyone ever donates, you can do what Vicky does with the chat, but you can also now look inside the description, and there's a thing that says Streamlabs on it. It's like a link to PayPal. It's all secure. It's ready to go, but you can donate any amount. You can donate $1, or you can donate $1,000. It doesn't matter to me, but it's much appreciated. Okay, here we go. First 5 notes of the blues scale, and Rick said E flat. So I know the E flat scale because we've learned that. We're going to keep learning that and keep repeating that. At iMusicAcademy, repetition is your friend. So E flat has 3 flats, and I know that it's E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. So then it's easy for me to learn my minor blues scale for E flat. 1 of the major scale, flat 3rd, 4, sharp 4, and 5. All right, so then if I show up to play the E flat blues, and they're going, I have all these 5 notes. Now I'm going to take it a step further. If I know my E flat blues is what I'm doing, and then I go down 3 half steps, remember our trick, I could do the first 4 notes of the C blues scale on E flat. And you notice what I did there, right? I snuck in the Ray Charles idea because it's a slide key, and I did the same thing, sliding onto that 3rd. Vance is always so funny. He is the poet that lets you know it. When Vicky donated the $2, Vance said, "Hail to the Queen." That's so awesome. All right, now, and then speaking of Vance, he said G, so the key of G. Now, we know that G major has 1 sharp, F sharp, and if I do our blues scale, we have 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, and 5. So we have the first 5 notes. You show up and somebody's playing the key of G, here you go. Now, remember that one thing that we can visualize, if we're doing our major blues scale over and over, and it's just the first 5 notes, and we feel like we need a little lift, what can we do? We can visualize the G major triad and go up to that 3rd note. And if you understand that, put God in the chat. Now we're in the key of G. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the key of C because here's your super important thing that everybody needs to know. Hang in there for this one. When we learn this idea of the C blues scale, and I tell you all the time, go down as a nice trick, go down 3 half steps and get to the A blues scale, the first 4 notes. Now, this is so important because if I'm playing a blues, of course, I've told you, yes, you can use the A blues scale, and that's going to sound fantastic, and that works beautiful with the key of C if you're in the C blues. But also, I could keep going up the scale, and you get that major third lift, right? You also get from the C blues, from the A blues scale, you get the 5th note of C and the 6th note. So it gets us into that idea of these licks we do all the time. Right, that's in Blues Volume 1. Or the first notes. Okay, now why in the world am I saying this relates to jazz? And this is where everybody lock in. If we're taking our standard song that we've been doing lately, if I go A Train, I can use A blues scale. Watch this. And then I could go, right? Do you hear that? So even over a C major jazz standard, I could think A minor blues scale anytime I want to, but really you want to be sparing with it. Like you want to think major. I could go. Now watch this. And then I go back to major sound. Right here. You see that? So I used a nice little mix of thinking A blues, and then I went to that major third of wherever I am. Major third. What a great thing to know. Whenever you're playing jazz standards and you're learning your blues scales, it's not just for the blues, it's also for jazz. And what you're going to start to notice is even if I'm playing in C major and I was doing Take the A Train, I can use my A minor blues scale over several different things whenever I want to get bluesy, because I know that I have the C. I don't know if now's the time, user. I appreciate you coming in, but you can mention something for later for sure. Okay, but we had this idea of D, E flat, E, and G and A, right? And another really important tip is in your jazz playing, whenever you get to like turnarounds and when you're doing like the turnaround, you can use your blues scale from C. Okay, now let's go up to D flat. We're going to go back to our blues ideas, and you say, all right, here's our 3, flat 7, 9. Let's go over our left hand voicings really quickly. We have this. Whenever you're playing in a jazz setting, or where it might be a jazz trio or a blues trio, the bass player's down here playing the bass line. We know that. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Bass player's doing his thing. And you're doing comping voicing. The comping voicings, I've always said, is when you're complimenting the soloist, which in this case is you, and you're doing 3 of the C major scale, the flat 7, and the 9. And we're going to go up the octave. So then you have C, E flat, F, F sharp, G. Watch this. If I go up a half step, now I'm 3, flat 7, 9 of a D flat scale. And back down to C. So watch this. In order to play D flat 9, the 3rd note of the D flat scale, remember the D flat, it's all the black notes starting on D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C. And then to play that particular D9, you just go up a half step, and you go 3, flat 7, 9, and you have this. The answer to that is what day I do suggested songs. Usually I'm only doing that if I'm goofing around on flute or saxophone, or some of our member lives, for sure. We do those. Which are not really live. I mean, they're live, but they're not public. But anyway, yes, you can definitely suggest a song, and I'll try to get to it at some point. So we go 3, flat 7, 9 of the D flat scale, and I go up the first 5 notes. Now, if you guys have that much, got it in the chat. So we're in D flat now. I'm going to show you some really amazing things, so you want to hang around. Okay, now, first 5 notes. And then if you go down to the 4 chord of D flat, the bottom 2 notes go down a half step. And now you're playing a G flat 13. Okay? Yeah, so user, you say, what about playing the suggested songs? We made a list of some of those songs that we had done when I was playing flute and a couple other things. So yeah, I just have to, whenever I get around to it, I've been doing a lot of piano teaching lately. So watch this. So let's do it again. So I'm in D flat now, really important. And I'm going to ask Rick what the 3 half steps down is from D flat. And I'm going to practice this just like I want you guys to practice. Now, here's the 5 chord of D flat, A flat. I go up the 5th note of the scale, and now I'm here. I'm up a whole step, so it's flat 7 of the A flat scale, the 3, that's right. So Rick says, and 13, Rick says B flat. So watch this trick. B flat, down 3 half steps. Now I do the B flat. Right there, so you have this. Now, I want to show you some more tips that are really important. What did I say you could do with the triad? You can visualize the triad. I'm going to go back to C. Something we know and we love is the C triad. So I can go 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 1. Well, why not do that in D flat? I'm going to go up a half step. So here I am in C. What about D flat? Oh, I need to say hello to Vance. I saw Vance sneaking up. He's the bookends of iMusicAcademy, always on at the beginning, always on at the middle. Hugh is one of our people who's a member of both academies, which he doesn't have to be. I always think that's so awesome. He's an all-access member who's also has access to Chord Academy. Very thankful for all of you, and always good to see Hugh on. All right, so here we go. Watch this. 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 1. And if you understand that, got it in the chat. Like, I'm getting that lift there. And even right now, for the key of B flat, you're going down 3 half steps from D flat, right? We have this. No, I meant Hugh. Hugh is he's an all-access member. Yeah, and Doug is our first ever YouTube member. So I know it's kind of confusing, but the public YouTube channel that's it's private but public. You just hit join and you join that. We're at 7 members in there. All right, so here we go. And I can visualize this. Watch this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go, not take a step back, but I told you that part of the goal for today is to playing the blues scales. So in the key of C, we know our fingering is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now, I could go up, keep going up the scale in the key of C, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. On the way back down, 4, 3, 1. And remember that in the key of C, to get that transition, when you hear me play my blues scales, I'm going up and down the keyboard, it's not to like show off or anything like that. The only reason I can do that is because we have to learn the right fingering and then stick with it. So notice that my fourth finger is on F sharp. That is my guide fingering as I'm going up and down the keyboard. I think about that F sharp, and the reason is because that F sharp gets me into the pattern of the first 5 notes of the blues scale, right? Isn't that nice? And then you want to be working your fingers every day. Hey, can I give you guys a quick side note? So I recently became friends with this awesome guy who's a piano player. He ended up buying a friend of mine's piano, and we started talking about music and jazz. And I was showing him a couple little chords that he liked. He's a great musician. And then I said, hey, have you ever thought about technique ideas? I said, because, you know, it's good to be working the fingers, and a lot of times we don't really think about that. So at iMusicAcademy, you guys know that I love for you to work your fingers every single day that you sit down on the piano. If you're going to practice 10 minutes, use a minute or two to do something in both hands. So one of the things I like to recommend is the first 5 notes of the blues scale in both hands. And at first you may not get it, but eventually you will. Okay, and the next thing is this, is I also have my favorite course ever, probably that I created, is the 50 Days to Flying Fingers. And exercise 1 does this. Remember that as an all-access member, and even this is floating out there if you're not an all-access member, is C triad. You do the C triad, and then you go D, F, and A, and hold the bottom notes. And then after you do it, then you have to, after you do it like 4 times, then you reverse it. Hold the top note of the G chord. And I have PDFs on all this stuff. But this friend of mine that I started to get to know has been doing that exercise every day that he sits down. He said it's just amazing the difference in his finger strength. So I'm telling you guys that just to remind you that make sure you're using both hands in some kind of exercise. You can either do this. Yeah, it's a great exercise, Doug, and if you did it every day in 2 weeks, you would be like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, because it's hard to hold the bottom notes because your 4th and 5th fingers are weak on each hand. And you do it slow. You're just trying to make sure you hold the top notes, and then on the way down, you hold the top notes, and you're working your left hand exercise. Okay, that's not a tangent. That's literally reminding you to use to work both hands. Really important. So going back to the C scale fingering, because we were talking about getting fluid motion up and down the keyboard and giving our finger strength up. When I go to D flat, here's your fingering for the D flat blues scale. 1, 2, 3. Thumb under on G. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can go for D flat blues scale that many of you thought you'd never play, right? Or you're not working on that. And a lot of you have been working on it, and I'm very proud of you. You have this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for days, right? Now I'm going to show you another tip that I always say that you can do. Is this is right out of Blues Volume 1. But if you're playing a D flat blues, what finger can you put on that note to get that really nice minor third lick? And the answer is your 3rd finger. I can put my 3rd finger on D flat, and then notice that my pinky is hovering over the minor 3rd, my index finger's over the flat 7, and then the 5th. So you have this, which will work over the entire D flat blues. Okay? Okay, so that's a fun little tip. So if you're in the key of C, middle finger on C, now you have those ideas, and you go on B. Same thing when we go down to B. We're going to go back to the D flat fingering, but I want to answer. Doug says sometimes his fingers slip off the black keys. That is a normal thing, Doug, and that's why we have to get repetition in. And you bring up some really interesting things. There are a lot of different fingerings that we use. Not a lot of different fingers, but there are certain fingerings that we make sure we use on licks and everything to make sure we're going to nail it and not slip off the keys. Like, for instance, when I tell you guys, like, if you learned this from Blues Volume 2, if I played the same fingering on D flat, I'm going to probably miss it. So that's not the fingering I would use, because your fingers are going to slip on the D flat. Instead, I would use 2 and 4 there. Okay, let me do it again. On D flat, I go. Again, one more time. When I first started learning these kinds of licks, I did the same fingering every time. And you know how hard it is to get to that with 3 and 5? Now, I can do it, but it's like, 70% that I'm going to get it, especially in a live setting. It's going to be better if you use these more secure fingerings like 2 and 4. That's where one thing that I love to show you guys is you're usually like 2 fingerings away from being able to play something in all keys. All right, Doug says he needs sticky spray just for the black keys. Doug, hey, I imagine for the first day that'll work perfect, and then your keys are going to get stuck together. Not saying that I know that from experience, or maybe I am. All right, now go back to your D flat fingering. I want to show you something really, really important. Is as we do our D flat, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can go for days. On the way back down, watch this. You get to the top. I need 4. Everybody put a 4 in the chat. Let's lock in. 4 on the way back down. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And by the way, for a user who said something about trying to play Euro Truck Simulator main theme music in blues C and D flat, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to it. It's really cool music, and I like that. But it all depends, of course, on the key and whether or not stylistically it'll work. Right. So here's the trick, guys: is make sure when you go D flat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whenever you get to the top, you don't need to go to 1 again, because that would be disaster and that would be weird. But you go to the 4, finger 4 on the top note. Now, if I'm playing both these exercises or the scale in both hands, for C it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1. So for D flat, I start on finger 4, and then it's 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And the reason I'm telling you that is because that's an important trick, is that whenever I'm doing the right hand, I go 1, 2, 3 for days. And then I go 1, 2, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top note of the octave, right? That's why I put the 4. The same thing on the left hand, whenever you're doing those, is the bottom note's going to be a 4. Right? So for the key of C, the bottom note's 5. For D flat, it's going to be 4. Okay, now, so that is your scale fingering for D flat, and this is with your chord. So you have C9, and you go up a half step, and D flat. And then watch if I go down a half step. We have to do the scale of B before we get off this live. We have about 6 minutes. So watch this. If the B fingering, so in order to know a B scale, I need to do my B major scale. B major has 5 sharps: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. And if I know my B major scale, then I can start to say, all right, root, minor third, 4, sharp 4, 5, flat 7, 1. And notice my fingering: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And when I get to the top, 4 on top. Are you guys with me? Do you understand that? Now, a lot of you, I mean, I would be the same way if Years ago, somebody said, all right, now let's play B blues. And I'd be like, I'm not playing B blues, right? So at the same time, you're looking at now you're starting to see B major, the blues scale has one sharp, and it's F sharp. If you understand that, put yes in the chat. And from a visual standpoint, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for days. And when you get to the top, what finger are you going to use? 4. Now, I'm going to show you something else. The top note of, I'm sorry, not the top note, but our middle finger, if you're playing blues and you put your middle finger on B, if you're in the key of B, what naturally happens? Your pinky's going to hover over the minor third, your thumb's going to hover over the fifth, and there's your flat 7. There it is. Also, you have the blues scale. You also have the other tip. We said you can go 3 half steps down and you get on to your G sharp or A flat, whatever you want to think about it, and the first 4 notes of that blues scale. Or the chord up here. And now I'm going to give you a practice strategy in just a second, okay? Okay, now, we know that tip, go down 3 half steps down and you're on G sharp. Now, don't give up on this, Vance, just yet. I know your head's hurting, but this is the medicine right here. What did we say with the triad? Is B triad just like C triad? And now I go 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 1, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so far we're working on the up-down approach. Now, because we have a 40-minute session, and if you're new and just kind of hanging out with us, you need to know that this is not the first time that everyone who is a member or usually hanging out with us, it's not the first time they've heard this, right? This is repetition of simple concepts, but now we're starting to transpose, and it is a little bit newer in the fact that we're doing some more complicated things of saying, all right, C major, now we're going to go up to D flat, but it's still simple concepts. But when you're playing in a new key, it takes a little while to settle in, and that's why we're doing this. But now I'm going to give you the practice strategy of these ideas. So I'm going to make a list of each one that we're doing. I'm going to show you what we just did, and then I'm going to show you how to practice it. So here you go. For C, the voicing you're going to use, again, is 3, flat 7, 9 of the C scale. And then you have the first 5 notes of the C blues scale. Okay, that's a perfect way to begin the practice. You're going to be like this. If you want, you could do the rhythm where you do the and of 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And now you're swinging, right? Got your automatic pilot going. And remember the secret to that, how in the world do you get your left hand to swing like that, is do this, 1 and 2, and. The F sharp gets that beat, 1 and 2, and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So then when I go up to D flat, the same exact thing. Now watch, this voicing goes up to 3, flat 7, 9. Gonna go back to key of C. Now this is how you're not going to be overwhelmed, is if you use the up-down approach. I was showing you a lot of different things you can do on C, like 5 different things that gets these concepts we've been working on, but now we're going to break it down and say, all right, for C, maybe I'm going to do just the first 5 notes. We go up and down, and I do that for a while, and then I go up to D flat. You can go as slow as you need to do. You can go right hand only, left hand only. Then I go back to C. Now I'm going to go down a half step. Now for B, the first 5 notes of the B blues scale, notice that I'm up into the keys a little bit. Okay, and if you understand that, put got it in the chat. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is this, a reminder that just like when you're learning something in all keys, you're usually 2 fingerings away from playing something in all keys. So the thing I'm going to remind you is that you have the Ray Charles idea, sliding from the minor third to major third. There you have it in the key of C. But when you go up to D flat, you have to say, all right, I'm starting on the 9th of D flat, and I have to hammer on 1, 2, 3. And then I have to pick up my hand to go to the minor third. Again. For C, it's a slide. It's super easy. For D flat, I start with my thumb on the E flat. Okay? Again. All right, now watch this. Now I'm gonna go back to C, and then I'm gonna go down to B, and then we're done. Now watch when I go to B. Now what did I have to do in order to get to that major third? I go to the 2nd note of the B major scale, and I go 1, 2, 3. And it gets me to the major third every time. And I want you to notice that although that might seem difficult at first to slide the Ray Charles or to do the Ray Charles idea in B, what you're going to start to notice, or in D flat, what you're going to start to notice is that, look at my my concept of your thumb on the 2nd note, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, is the same motion when you go to B, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I need you to put got it in the chat. So I go to the 2nd note of B. For C, it's a slide. For D flat, same exact motion. So that's your fingering for all keys. You're either doing slide key or you're hammering on, starting on the 2nd note of the scale. And that is your ultimate win for today. Now, most likely you're going to be playing, when you're doing this kind of thing, you're going to be in the slide keys. They feel really good. But occasionally you might be in a different key. It might be somebody who just says, all right, let's do A. All right, what a fun lesson. I want to give my shout outs just like we always do at iMusicAcademy. A shout out to Rick, the Gandalf of iMusicAcademy, to Doug, the first member ever of the YouTube channel. Very thankful for that. I'm still wanting, I can't believe, we're still stuck at 7 people joining. And all you have to do is hit join, and nobody has left that ever since they signed up. There's so much material in there, and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Of course, you can also look at the description, follow the link to the Streamlabs if you want to support there as well. And I promise you there are lots of expenses that go along with iMusicAcademy. But very much appreciated, every cent that comes in. Okay, so again, to Vance, always good to see you. Vance is a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you, Vance, the poet who lets you know it. We have Vicky, who's a member of everything, Queen Vic. Then we have T-Man, who's a member of the All Access group. Thank you, Dad. Hugh, who's a member of both the Chord Academy and the All Access. Thank you always for your support. Vicky, thank you for your donation. Thank you, User, for hanging out. Thank you for suggesting those songs. You got me thinking about those the songs from the truck. What is it called? The Truck Simulator. Yeah, that great music. Of course, I was trying to play it on flute, which is a lot of fun. Make sure I get everybody else here. Awesome. I think that's everybody. Let me just scroll down to the bottom here. Oh, and Hugh, of course, the bookends of iMusicAcademy. Always on at the beginning, the middle, and the end. All right, guys, have a fantastic day. Chord Academy is tomorrow, so we're going to be talking about jazz voicings tomorrow. Get ready. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to wind up doing the training for the new course that's coming out. The 15 Simply Beautiful Jazz Chords. All right. I guess you guys are already saying bye to each other. Now's your chance. You have 30 seconds.